Picture yourself at the base of a towering mountain, the wind howling like a beast, unleashed storm clouds clawing at the sky. Your boots sink into the mud and every muscle in your body screams to turn back. Why do you hesitate? It's not the storm above or the jagged path ahead. It's the weight of resistance within you, that invisible chain, forged by fear, doubt, and the seductive pull of comfort. This is where your journey begins, not with the first step, but with the battle inside your mind. I'm talking to you, the one who feels the tug of hard things, yet freezes at the edge of action. In this storm, on this ascent, you will learn to force yourself to do what scares you most. Welcome to the fight for your own transformation. Let's climb together through the weight of resistance, understanding the internal barriers that hold you back from embracing the challenges that shape your soul. Feel the rain on your face. Hear the thunder's challenge. Are you ready to rise? Imagine yourself sitting at a desk day after day in a job that pays the bills but drains your spirit. You've been here for years, a cog in a machine that hums with predictability. The coffee tastes the same, the emails pile up, the clock ticks louder than your heartbeat. But deep down, a whisper grows, a vision of something more, a career change that could light a fire in your chest. Maybe it's starting your own business or pivoting to a field that demands every ounce of your courage. You've got the idea, the late-night sketches, the half-written plans. Yet when the moment comes to leap, to send that application, to walk away from the safety net, your hands tremble. Resistance grips you like a vice. What if I fail, you mutter? What if I'm not enough? So you stay, you settle. The door to your future remains unopened, and the weight of what could have been grows heavier with each passing day. Now picture that mountain ascent. The storm rages and you're halfway up, legs, burning wind, slashing at your face. Every instinct begs you to descend to seek shelter in the familiar valley below. But something shifts. You remember why you started. You grit your teeth, plant one foot in front of the other, and push upward. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to move despite it. Back at that desk, the lesson is the same. Resistance isn't a wall, it's a test. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to act. That first step, sending the email, making the call, feels like scaling a cliff in a gale, but it's the only way to the summit. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, do not wait, the time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command. The takeaway burns bright, resistance is heavy, but your will is stronger. Force yourself to turn the knob on that unopened door. Now see yourself standing at the edge of a gym parking lot, or maybe in your living room, lacing up sneakers that feel foreign on your feet. You've promised yourself a change, a fitness journey to reclaim your strength, your energy, your life. The mirror reflects a version of you that feels distant, and the thought of starting claws at your nerves. The treadmill looms like a monster, the weights like unmovable boulders. Your mind races with excuses. I'm too tired. I'm too out of shape. What if I look foolish? Resistance wraps around you like a fog, thick and suffocating. So you hesitate. You scroll on your phone instead, numbing the ache of inaction. Days turn to weeks, and the sneakers gather dust, a silent reminder of a battle you didn't fight. But let's return to that mountain in the storm. The path is steep, the rain relentless, and your body begs for rest. Yet you recall a truth: every ascent begins with a single shaky step. You don't need to conquer the peak today, you just need to move. Courage surges and you take that step, then another, defying the storm's roar. In the gym, it's no different. Resistance whispers lies, but action silences them. You step onto the treadmill, slow and unsteady, or lift that first light weight, muscles trembling. It hurts, it humbles. But with each rep, each bead of sweat, you climb higher. The lesson echoes: resistance is the first hurdle, not the finish line. Force yourself to start even when the storm of doubt rages. As Jim Rohn once said, we must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Choose the pain that builds you. Pause for a moment and look within. What is this weight of resistance that anchors you to the ground when hard things call? It's not just fear, though. Fear is a sharp blade in its arsenal. It's a tapestry woven from doubt, habit, and the human hunger for ease. Resistance is the voice that tells you to stay small, to avoid the storm, to cling to the warm cave of comfort while the mountain looms outside. But here's a truth to carve into your mind. Resistance isn't your enemy. It's your forge. It shapes you, tests you, reveals what you're made of. Without it, there's no growth. A seed doesn't become a tree by basking in endless sunlight. It pushes through soil against gravity toward a sky it cannot yet see. So why do you shrink from the hard path? How many summits have you abandoned because the first gust of wind felt too cold? Picture that mountain ascent again. The storm doesn't care about your plans or your pain. It rages regardless. Resistance is like that storm, an inevitable force, not a personal attack. You can't control its fury, but you can control your response. Will you turn back, or will you lean into the wind, letting it carve resilience into your bones? Understand this: the barriers within you, self-doubt, procrastination, fear of failure, are not flaws. They're the raw material of your ascent. Every time you push past them, you build a stronger version of yourself. Resistance is heavy, yes, but it's also the weight that makes you unbreakable. Embrace it. Let it teach you. Force yourself to climb even when the storm screams stop. Let's dig deeper. Why does resistance feel so powerful? It's because it promises safety in the illusion of comfort. That unfulfilling job, that sedentary life, that unchallenged routine, they're blankets you wrap around yourself, shielding you from the storm. But blankets don't protect, they suffocate. Comfort is a slow poison, numbing your hunger for more, while the mountain of your potential stands untouched. Have you ever noticed how the longer you stay still, the harder it is to move? Resistance feeds on inertia, growing stronger with every day you delay. How many dreams have you buried under the weight of someday? How many hard things have you avoided only to carry the heavier burden of regret? Think of the mountain. Down in the valley, the air is still, the ground soft. It's easy to stay there, to watch the storm from afar. But ease is a trap. The summit, your growth, your purpose, lies beyond the tempest. Resistance tricks you into believing the storm will destroy you, but in truth, it's the valley that erodes your spirit. Hard things aren't punishments, they're invitations. They're the gales that strip away weakness, leaving only strength behind. So shatter the illusion. Comfort isn't your home, it's your cage. Force yourself to step into the wind. As Viktor E. Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, what man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal, a freely chosen task. Choose the struggle, climb. When resistance looms like a wall, don't stare at it, move through it. Here's how to take that first step, even when every part of you resists. Start small, but start now. If it's a career change, don't aim to overhaul your life overnight. Write one email update, one line on your resume, or research one course today. If it's a fitness journey, commit to 5 minutes of movement, walk, stretch, anything. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Resistance thrives on overwhelm, so break the mountain into footholds. One step at a time you ascend. Next, name your fear. When doubt creeps in, pause. Ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of? Write it down if you must. Is it failure? Embarrassment, loss? Seeing the monster in the light shrinks it? Then counter it with one reason to act. Maybe it's the vision of a better future or the refusal to live with what if. Hold that reason like a torch in the storm, it will guide you. Finally, commit publicly if you can. Tell a friend, post your goal, create accountability. Resistance hates witnesses. Force yourself to start even if it's messy. The summit isn't reached in a single bound. It's won through 1,000 stubborn steps. Resistance will return, it's a lifelong storm. So build a mindset that withstands it. First, reframe hard things as challenges, not threats. When a task feels impossible, tell yourself, this is my mountain. Climbing it makes me stronger. Shift from dread to determination. Second, create a ritual for action. Set a specific time or trigger, say, after my morning coffee, I tackle one hard task. Rituals bypass resistance by making action automatic. Third, track your progress no matter how small. Did you send that email? Take that walk, mark it. Seeing evidence of your ascent fuels your fire. When resistance whispers, quit counter with a question, am I one step from a breakthrough? Often the hardest moments precede the greatest wins. Keep a journal of why you started, reread it in weak moments. Build mental armor by celebrating every push forward. You're not just climbing a mountain, you're forging a warrior spirit. Force yourself to keep going. The storm may howl, but your resolve roars louder. You've stood at the base of the mountain, felt the weight of resistance pressing down, and faced the storm within. You've seen how it anchors you to comfort, how it builds illusions of safety while stealing your potential. Through stories of unopened doors and untaken steps, through reflections on the forge of struggle and the trap of ease, one truth emerges. Resistance is heavy, but your will is mightier. The key lesson is clear. Embracing hard challenges begins with understanding and overcoming the internal barriers that hold you back. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to climb through it. Every hesitation, every doubt is a gust of wind testing your courage. And every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over the weight that seeks to ground you. As we prepare to delve deeper into forcing yourself to face hard things in the next stretch of this journey, carry this with you. Stand tall at the edge of your mountain. Let the storm rage. Plant your foot on the path and let courage be your guide. Rise through the storm. Your summit awaits. Picture a blacksmith's forge, the air thick with heat and the clang of iron against anvil. Each strike sends sparks flying. Each blow shapes raw, unyielding metal into something stronger, sharper, unbreakable. That iron is you. Life's hardships, those searing moments of discomfort, doubt, and struggle are the hammer. They don't break you, they forge you. Can you feel the heat already? In this crucible of effort, you are being transformed, but only if you embrace the pain as your greatest teacher. Welcome to the forge of pain, where forcing yourself to do hard things becomes the very act that crafts your strength. We're diving deep into the heart of transformation, where discomfort isn't your enemy, but your ally. This journey of forcing yourself to face the hard, the heavy, the seemingly impossible is not about suffering for suffering's sake. It's about reframing every ache, every sleepless night, every rejection as a strike of the hammer that shapes your resilience. You don't shy from the heat. You step into it. You don't flinch at the weight. You lift it. Let's walk this path together through stories of struggle and triumph, through reflections that challenge your core, and through steps that turn pain into power. Are you ready to be forged? Imagine yourself as a student hunched over a desk at 2 a.m. The world silent except for the scratch of your pen and the hum of a flickering lamp. Textbooks tower around you like unscaled mountains, and your mind is a storm of doubt. I can't do this, you whisper. Exams loom like a forge's fire, burning away your confidence with every passing hour. Your eyes ache, your hands tremble, and the weight of failure feels heavier than the books themselves. You've been here before? Pushing, grinding, forcing yourself to keep going when every fiber of your being screams to quit. Why does it feel like you're hammering at iron that refuses to bend? Why does every late night seem to mock your effort? But something shifts. You pause, take a breath, and remember why you started. That dream of a better future, that vision of standing tall with a degree in hand, it's the shape you're forging. So you grip the pen tighter. You force yourself to read one more chapter, to solve one more problem. Night after night, the hammer falls. It's grueling. It's painful. And yet with each session, you feel the iron of your will hardening. The doubt doesn't vanish, but it dulls against the edge of your persistence. Months later, when results come, you see a grade that reflects not just knowledge, but grit. You weren't just studying. You were being shaped by the forge of pain. The lesson here is raw and unyielding, like the blacksmith's craft. Hardship, those endless nights, that crushing doubt, is the hammer that shapes your strength through relentless effort. You didn't break under the heat. You became sharper, stronger, ready for the next challenge. As the takeaway of this section reminds us, discomfort is not a barrier, but a necessary tool for growth. You forced yourself to do the hard thing, and in that act, you transformed. Now see yourself as an artist standing before a gallery of your work hard, pounding like a hammer on iron. You've poured your soul into every brushstroke, every sketch, every creation born from sleepless nights and trembling hands. But the critiques come like blows, harsh, unrelenting, cutting deeper with each word. Not original enough. Lacks depth. Try again. Each rejection feels like a strike against your very being, threatening to shatter the fragile vision you've built. You question everything. Is this worth it? Should you lay down the brush and walk away? The pain of being unseen, unheard burns hotter than any forge. Yet in that moment of searing doubt, you choose to stand firm. You force yourself to pick up the brush again, to face the blank canvas when every instinct tells you to flee. Each rejection becomes a lesson, each critique a strike that shapes your craft. You refine your lines, deepen your colors, and pour even more of yourself into the work. It's agonizing, forcing yourself to create through the pain, but slowly you see the iron of your resolve taking form. One day a gallery accepts your piece, not because you avoided the blows, but because you endured them. The rejections didn't break you. They forged you into an artist whose work now speaks with unshakable power. Here the blacksmith's metaphor rings true. Hardship shapes strength through relentless effort. Every critique was a hammer strike, every rejection a flame that tempered your spirit. You embraced the forge of pain, and in doing so, you grew. As our key takeaway echoes, discomfort is the tool that transforms you only if you force yourself to face it head on. Let's step back and look at discomfort with unflinching eyes. What if pain isn't your enemy, but your sculptor? What if every moment of struggle, every weight you force yourself to carry is chiseling away the rough edges of who you are to reveal the masterpiece beneath? In the blacksmith's forge, raw iron doesn't become a blade by chance. It's hammered, heated, bent, and struck until it holds an edge that can cut through anything. So it is with you. Discomfort, whether it's the ache of effort, the sting of failure, or the grind of persistence, is the tool that shapes your growth. You don't grow in comfort. You don't transform in ease. You evolve in the fire. Think of the river that carves through stone, not by force alone, but by relentless flow over time. Your struggles are that current wearing down doubt, fear, and weakness until only strength remains. Forcing yourself to do hard things isn't punishment, it's purpose. Pain is the heat that tempers your resolve, the hammer that molds your character. As Napoleon Hill wrote in, "Think and grow rich strength, and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle." Embrace the forge. Let it burn away what no longer serves you. Step into the heat not with fear, but with the certainty that on the other side, you'll emerge sharper, stronger, unbreakable. Have you ever considered the hidden beauty of the blacksmith's work? The iron doesn't see the blade it will become. It only feels the hammer, the heat, the unrelenting pressure. Yet in the hands of a skilled craftsman, every blow has purpose. So it is with your journey of forcing yourself to do hard things. You may not see the shape of your growth while you're in the forge of pain. The late nights, the rejections, the doubts, they feel like chaos, like punishment. But they are not random. They are crafting something within you, something you cannot yet see. Reflect on this: a seed buried in darkness doesn't know it will become a towering tree. It only knows the weight of the soil, the struggle to push upward. Yet it pushes anyway. You are that seed in the moments of discomfort. Forcing yourself to endure, to act, to persist is the act of breaking through. Discomfort is your soil, your forge, your necessary tool for transformation. As our takeaway reminds us, it's not to be feared, but embraced. Trust the process even when the hammer falls heavy. Trust that every strike is shaping you for a purpose greater than the pain of this moment. When discomfort burns hot, when the hard thing you must do feels like a hammer too heavy to lift, pause. Take a breath. Reframe the heat. Ask yourself, what is this pain teaching me? Is it patience as you study through exhaustion? Is it resilience as you face another rejection? Write down one lesson this struggle offers. Seeing pain as a teacher shifts your perspective. It's no longer a wall, but a doorway. Then take one small step forward. If you're studying, read one more page. If you're creating, make one more sketch. Action, even small, keeps the hammer moving. Keep a journal of these moments. Each time you force yourself through a hard thing, note the discomfort and the lesson. Over weeks, you'll see a pattern. Every strike shaped you. As Mel Robbins advises in the 5-second rule, if you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill it. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. Don't let discomfort freeze you. Step into the forge. Let it shape you. Discomfort is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Start small, but deliberate. Choose one hard thing each day that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a tough conversation, a grueling workout, or tackling a daunting project. Set a timer for 10 minutes and begin. Force yourself to start even if your mind resists. When the timer ends, assess. Was it as bad as you feared? Often the anticipation of pain is worse than the act itself. Build on this. Increase the time or intensity each week. If 10 minutes of study feels hard, push to 15 tomorrow. If rejection stings, submit one more piece of work despite the fear. Track your progress. See discomfort not as a threat, but as a weight you lift to grow stronger. You're in the forge now, and every hard thing you force yourself to do is a strike of the hammer, shaping your strength through relentless effort. Embrace it. Grow through it. You've walked through the forge of pain with me, felt the heat of discomfort, and seen how it transforms when you force yourself to face the hard things. We've witnessed a student hammer through doubt in midnight study sessions, an artist endure the blows of rejection to craft unyielding resolve. We've reflected on pain as your sculptor, on the unseen beauty of the process, and we've armed ourselves with steps to reframe the heat and build endurance. The takeaway of this journey is clear: discomfort is not your barrier, but your necessary tool for growth and transformation. It's the hammer that shapes you, the fire that tempers you, only if you step into it with purpose. As we move forward, carry this truth in your heart. The forge is always there waiting for you to wield its power. The next section will build on this foundation, pushing you to new heights of grit and vision. But for now, stand tall in the heat. Know that every hard thing you force yourself to do is crafting you into something unbreakable. Let this be your mantra as you face the flames ahead. Endure the strike. Your strength is being forged. Picture this: beneath a crust of frozen earth, a single seed trembles. It's small, fragile, yet it carries a force so primal, so relentless, that it will split the unyielding ground above. You are that seed. Right now, fear and doubt encase you like ice, paralyzing your every move. Why do you hesitate? Why do you stare at the barrier and shrink back when the power to break through lies within you? In this journey of forcing yourself to do hard things, the unseen barriers, those whispers of inadequacy, those shadows of dread are your greatest test. But here this growth demands force. It demands that you push even when the ground feels impenetrable. This is your moment to develop the strategies that propel you into action, to shatter the frost of hesitation and rise. Let's unearth that strength together, for the barrier isn't your end, it's your beginning. Imagine yourself as a writer sitting at a worn desk in the dim glow of a desk lamp. The blank page before you is a battlefield, and your mind is the enemy. Every idea you conjure feels unworthy, every word a potential failure. Perfectionism grips you like a vice, whispering that if it's not flawless, it's not worth writing. Your fingers hover over the keys, trembling. Hours pass and the page remains empty. You're trapped beneath the frozen earth of self-doubt, unable to move. But then something shifts. You force yourself to type one sentence, messy, raw, imperfect. It's a crack in the ice. That single act, that refusal to stay buried, unleashes a flood. Words pour out, clumsy at first, then stronger, bolder. The page fills not with perfection, but with progress. This is the lesson of the seed piercing through frozen earth growth doesn't wait for ideal conditions. It demands force, a deliberate push against the barrier of fear. You didn't need a masterpiece, you needed momentum. As Stephen King once said, the scariest moment is always just before you start. That first sentence was your rebellion against paralysis, your proof that action, however small, shatters the unseen walls. The takeaway is clear: when doubt strikes, don't aim for flawless, aim for forward. One step, one word, one crack in the ice, that's how you break through. Now see yourself as a runner standing at the edge of a frostbitten trail at dawn. Your body aches from yesterday's grind, your mind screams for rest. The thought of lacing up your shoes feels like scaling a mountain with bare hands. Exhaustion is your frozen earth, a barrier that tells you to stay down, to surrender to comfort. But you don't. You force your fingers to tie the laces, one loop at a time. You step outside, the cold biting your skin, and focus on just the first mile. Not the marathon, not the finish line, just this one stretch. Each step is heavy, each breath a battle. But as your feet hit the ground, something ignites. Momentum builds like a seed splitting the soil. That first mile becomes 2, then 3. You're no longer running from exhaustion, you're running through it. Here lies the truth of growth. Forcing yourself into action isn't about the entire journey, it's about the first push. Like the seed, you must exert force against the unyielding barrier of fatigue. The first mile was your crack in the ice, your refusal to be buried by doubt. As Eric Thomas reminds us, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You didn't need endless energy, you needed relentless will. The lesson echoes when fear or exhaustion looms. Narrow your focus. Start with 1 mile, 1 task, 1 moment. That's how you pierce the unseen barriers and claim your ground. Let's pause and look deeper. What are these unseen barriers that hold you back? They're not mountains of stone or rivers of fire. They're the silent frost of fear, the heavy soil of doubt that buries your potential. They're the thoughts that creep in at midnight telling you you're not enough, that the hard thing before you is too much. But consider this: a seed doesn't see the frozen earth as an enemy. It doesn't lament its weight or curse its cold. It simply pushes, driven by a force older than time itself. You too carry that force. Growth demands that you wield it, that you refuse to let the invisible ice dictate your path. How many times have you stopped just before the breakthrough, mistaking the barrier for a wall instead of a door? How often have you let the chill of doubt freeze your roots before they could even spread? Understand this: the unseen barriers are not there to stop you. They're there to shape you. They're the resistance that forges your strength, the frost that tests your fire. Like a seed, your growth isn't gentle, it's a battle. So when fear strikes, don't shrink. Push. Force yourself to act even when the ground feels unyielding. That act of defiance, that raw exertion, is what cracks the ice and lets your light emerge. Dive deeper with me. Think of the seed beneath the frozen earth. It doesn't shatter the entire ground in one mighty blow. It starts with a single trembling thrust. A tiny crack, barely visible yet, it's enough to change everything. That's the power of small defiance, the quiet, stubborn act of moving forward when every part of you screams to stop. Fear and doubt are not towering giants. They're shadows that grow larger the longer you stare at them. But take one step, make one mark, and their illusion shatters. You're not battling the world, you're battling the frost within. Have you ever noticed how the hardest things feel impossible until the moment you begin? Why do we let the weight of what's ahead bury us before we even try? The truth is, forcing yourself to do hard things isn't about grand gestures. It's about micro rebellions. It's about telling fear, not today. It's about lacing up the shoes, typing the first word, taking the first step. Like a seed, your strength builds with each small push. Growth demands force, yes, but it starts with a whisper of will. So stand firm. Defy the unseen barriers, not with a roar, but with a relentless, quiet push. That's how you carve your path through the frozen earth. Now let's get practical. When fear and doubt strike, when the unseen barriers loom like an endless winter, use the one-step rule. Stop overthinking the mountain ahead. Stop staring at the frozen earth with dread. Instead, ask yourself, what is the smallest, most immediate action I can take right now? If you're a writer paralyzed by a blank page, it's typing one sentence. Doesn't matter how rough. If you're a runner dreading the miles, it's putting on your shoes and stepping out the door. Narrow your focus to that single step. Commit to it with every ounce of your will. Once that step is taken, pause. Feel the crack in the ice. Let that tiny victory fuel you for the next. Momentum is your ally. It builds silently like a seed's slow push against the soil. Write it down if you must pen one reason why this step matters. Keep it close. When doubt creeps back, look at it. Remind yourself you've already pierced the barrier once. You can do it again. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Force yourself to start, and the unseen barriers will crumble one step at a time. Here's another tool to wield. When hesitation grips you, the 5-minute commitment. When the hard thing before you feels like an impenetrable wall of ice, tell yourself you'll only engage for 5 minutes. Set a timer if you must. 5 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of running, 5 minutes of facing whatever task you dread. That's it. No grand promises, no endless grind, just 5 minutes of force. You'll find that once you start, once you push through the initial frost of fear, something shifts. The barrier weakens. Often those 5 minutes stretch into more, because you've already cracked the ground. Why does this work? Because the unseen barriers thrive on anticipation, not action. They grow in the space between thought and movement. Shrink that space. Commit to 5 minutes and you rob fear of its power. As Mel Robbins writes in the 5-second rule, if you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill it. So move. Force yourself into those first moments. Like a seed, your growth begins with the smallest exertion. 5 minutes can be your rebellion, your breakthrough. Try it. Watch the ice shatter. You've journeyed through the frost of fear and doubt, unearthing strategies to force yourself into action when the unseen barriers threaten to bury you. You've seen the writer type, that first messy sentence the runner conquer, that first mile, and you've felt the seed's relentless push against frozen earth. The lesson rings: clear growth demands force. It demands that you act even when the ground feels unyielding, even when doubt chills your core. The takeaway is your beacon when fear strikes starts small. Start now and shatter the ice with your will. Remember, every barrier you face is a test of your strength, a forge for your resilience. You're not meant to stay buried. You're meant to rise. As we move forward, carry this truth into the next challenge, the next hard thing. The ground may be frozen, but your fire burns hotter. Keep pushing, keep piercing, keep growing. The world above awaits. Push harder. Your breakthrough is just beyond the frost. Picture yourself at the helm of a weathered ship, the horizon swallowed by a merciless storm. Waves tower like mountains, crashing against your vessel with unrelenting fury. The wind howls, tearing at your resolve, and the dark clouds above mock your every move. Do you surrender to the tempest, or do you grip the wheel tighter, eyes fixed on a distant, unseen harbor? This storm is your life when challenges mount, when every effort feels like a battle against an endless tide. Building resilience isn't just surviving these moments, it's mastering the art of steering through chaos with unwavering willpower. In this journey of forcing yourself to do hard things, you've already faced the initial plunge, the raw decision to act. Now the test deepens, the storm intensifies over time, and your strength is stretched thin. But here in this crucible of struggle, you forge something unbreakable. The power to sustain your effort to endure when every fiber of your being screams to turn back. I'm speaking directly to you. Yes, you, the one staring down the waves of doubt and exhaustion. Together, we'll navigate this storm not by luck, but by the iron of your resolve. Let's chart this course, for beyond these treacherous waters lies the safe harbor of your triumph. Imagine you're an entrepreneur, your dreams stitched together by sleepless nights and relentless hustle. You've poured every ounce of yourself into a small business, a cafe, a tech startup, a craft that carries your soul. For months, you've battled to keep it alive, but now the storm hits. Financial setbacks pile up like rogue waves, bills, unpaid loans, looming clients vanishing into thin air. Each day, the numbers glare back at you, red as warning sirens. You've invested too much to quit, yet every instinct urges you to abandon ship. The weight of failure threatens to drown you, late nights, wondering if you've bet on the wrong dream, if you're steering straight into ruin. But in the heart of this chaos, you pause. You don't jump overboard. Instead, you grip the wheel of your willpower and recalibrate. You slash unnecessary costs, pivot to a leaner model, reach out to mentors for guidance. You spend hours cold calling potential partners, rewriting your strategy under the dim glow of a desk lamp. It's grueling, each rejection stings like salt in a wound, but you keep steering. One small win emerges, a new client signs on, then another. Slowly the waves begin to settle, your ship battered but unbroken edges closer to harbor. The lesson isn't in the survival alone, it's in the choice to navigate through the worst of it. As Napoleon Hill once wrote in Think and Grow Rich, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. You found that seed in the storm, and by refusing to drift, you planted it. This is resilience, not a shield against hardship, but a compass to guide you when the seas rage. You didn't just weather the financial tempest, you learned to steer through it, proving that willpower can turn even the darkest squall into a path forward. The takeaway is clear: sustained effort, even when the odds seem impossible, is the anchor that holds you steady until the storm passes. Now shift your gaze to a different ship, one helmed by a parent caught in a storm of endless responsibilities. Picture yourself juggling a full-time job, children who need your every moment, and a household that teeters on the edge of chaos. Mornings begin with a frantic rush, packing lunches, soothing tantrums racing against the clock to make it out the door. Evenings are no reprieve. Exhaustion clings to you as you tackle laundry bills and the quiet fear that you're not doing enough. The waves of duty crash relentlessly, and there are days when you feel your ship splintering beneath the strain. You wonder if you'll ever reach a calm shore, or if this storm of overwhelm is your permanent reality. Yet amidst the gale, you find your strength in small, consistent victories. You carve out 5 minutes each morning to breathe, to center yourself before the day's tempest begins. You prioritize one task at a time tonight. It's reading a bedtime story to your child, letting their laughter steady your shaking hands. Each completed chore, each moment of connection, becomes a buoy keeping your ship afloat. You don't conquer the entire storm in a day, but you steer through it inch by inch. One evening, as your child hugs you tight and whispers, "Thanks, Mom," or "Thanks, Dad," you realize the harbor isn't just a distant dream, it's in these fleeting, hard-won joys. As Brené Brown reminds us in Daring, greatly courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. You showed up day after day, and that courage turned the storm into a testament of your endurance. This story mirrors the entrepreneurs. The storm is different, but the act of steering through chaos with willpower is the same. Resilience isn't about grand gestures. It's about the quiet resolve to keep moving, to find harbor in the smallest of triumphs when the waves refuse to relent. Let's step back and gaze at the storm itself. Why does it feel so endless? Why does every challenge, when stretched over time, seem to grow heavier, as if the waves themselves conspired to break you? The truth is, resilience isn't born in calm waters. It's forged in the heart of the tempest. Building resilience to sustain effort means understanding that the storm isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Each wave that crashes against your ship tests the timber of your will. Each gust of wind sharpens your ability to hold course. Pain, doubt, exhaustion. These are not anchors dragging you down, but currents shaping your strength. Think of your life as that ship navigating treacherous waves. Willpower is your rudder guiding you through chaos to safe harbor. Without the storm, you'd never know the depth of your own power. How many times have you felt ready to abandon ship only to discover later that you were mere moments from calmer seas? How often have you underestimated the steel within you, only to find it gleaming after the fight? The storm doesn't just reveal your resilience. It builds it plank by plank until your vessel is unyielding. So embrace the chaos. Let it roar. You are not adrift, you are learning to command the seas. There's a seductive whisper in every storm, the illusion of surrender. It tells you that dropping the wheel, letting the waves take you, will bring relief. But pause and look deeper. Surrender isn't peace, it's drift. It's the slow, unseen sinking of your dreams, your purpose, your fight. Building resilience means recognizing this lie for what it is. The storm doesn't stop because you give up. It simply carries you farther from harbor. Your willpower, that fierce, unyielding force within, is the only thing that can steer you back to safety. Picture the ship again, battered by waves as tall as cliffs. The easy choice is to release your grip to let the current decide your fate. But easy is a mirage. Hard is the truth. Hard is the act of clenching the wheel until your knuckles ache, of squinting through the rain for a glimpse of light. Have you ever noticed how the storm seems fiercest just before it breaks? That's no coincidence. Resilience is built in those final grueling moments when you refuse to let go. As Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better, so become better." Steer through the illusion of surrender, and you'll find the harbor waiting closer than you ever dared to believe. When the storm of challenges intensifies and your effort feels like it's fraying at the edges, you need an anchor, a reason to keep steering. Resilience isn't blind stubbornness. It's fueled by purpose. So here's your first step. Pause amid the chaos and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Write down one clear, unshakable reason for your fight. Maybe it's your family's future, a vision you've carried since childhood, or simply the refusal to let hardship define you. Keep that reason close, stick it on your desk, whisper it in the mirror. Let it be the lighthouse guiding your ship. Next, break the storm into manageable waves. You can't conquer an endless tempest in one day, but you can navigate the next hour. Set a tiny achievable goal. Finish one task, make one call, take one step. Each small victory is a knot in the rope of your resilience, pulling you closer to harbor. When doubt surges, return to your purpose. Let it steady your hands on the wheel. Remember, the storm doesn't care about your fatigue, but your willpower does. Use it. Steer with intent, and you'll outlast any gale. Resilience grows when you see the distance you've traveled, even in a storm. Too often, you're so focused on the towering waves ahead that you forget how far you've come. So take this actionable step, chart your progress. Grab a notebook or a digital app and log your daily efforts, no matter how small. Did you push through a tough conversation? Write it down. Did you show up despite exhaustion? Mark it. These entries are your map, proof that your ship is moving even when the harbor feels out of reach. Then at the end of each week, review your log. Reflect on the waves you've crossed. Celebrate the fact that you're still steering, still fighting. This isn't about vanity, it's about reinforcing your resolve. When the storm rages hardest, flip back through those pages. Let them remind you that you've survived every wave so far. Your willpower isn't just a fleeting spark, it's a steady flame guiding you through chaos. Keep charting, keep moving, and trust that every log step brings you closer to calm waters. As we stand on the deck of this journey, battered but unbroken, let's anchor ourselves in the truth we've uncovered. Building resilience to sustain effort when challenges intensify over time isn't a gift bestowed by calm seas, it's a skill forged in the heart of the storm. You've seen it in the entrepreneur who recalibrated through financial ruin, in the parent who found strength in quiet victories. You've felt it in the philosophical depths, the storm, as your teacher's surrender, as your illusion, and in the practical tools to anchor your purpose and chart your progress. The key lesson, the heartbeat of this section is, this resilience is your willpower, steering you through chaos to safe harbor, and it's built by refusing to let go, no matter how fierce the waves. So as we prepare to sail into the next leg of forcing yourself to do hard things, carry this with you. The storm will rage again, but you are no stranger to its fury. You've learned to navigate, to endure, to triumph. Hold fast to your wheel, for every wave you conquer is a step closer to the shore you seek. Let this be your guiding light, your unyielding truth as the horizon calls. Steer with iron will, your harbor awaits. Picture yourself in the heart of an endless desert, the sun a merciless tyrant above, scorching the sands beneath your weary feet. Each step burns, each breath tastes of dust, yet you press on. Why? Because you know deep in your bones that beyond this crucible of suffering lies an oasis of triumph. This is the essence of forcing yourself to do hard things, a journey through the harshest terrain to claim a victory sweeter than any mirage. You've walked this desert in your own life, haven't you? Every time you chose the steep path over the easy escape, every moment you endured when surrender seemed so near. In this chapter, The Triumph of Unyielding, will we celebrate the transformation that blooms from such endurance. We honor the impact of pushing through pain to stand taller, stronger, and unshakable. Feel the heat on your skin now, traveler. Let it remind you every blister, every ache is forging you into something greater. Let's walk this final stretch together and witness what awaits on the other side. Imagine standing before a crowd, your heart a wild drum in your chest, your palms slick with sweat. You once feared this moment more than death itself. Public speaking was your desert, a vast expanse of judgment and silence that threatened to swallow you whole. Every word felt like a grain of sand in your throat, choking you before it could escape. You stumbled through speeches, voice quivering, eyes darting for the nearest exit. The easy path whispered, avoid it, hide, let someone else speak. But you didn't listen. You forced yourself to stand there again and again, through the burning embarrassment and the sting of shaky starts. You joined clubs, practiced in front of mirrors, recorded yourself, until your own voice became a familiar ally. Each session was a step across those scorching sands, each failure a blister on your soul. Now picture this. You stand on a stage, hundreds of eyes locked on you. Not with judgment, but with awe. Your voice rolls like thunder across the room, each word striking a chord in hearts you'll never fully know. You're no longer the trembling shadow who once feared a microphone. You're a beacon inspiring others to find their own voice. That desert of fear you crossed, it didn't break you, it forged you. Endurance turned your suffering into a triumph, so radiant it lights the path for others. As you step off that stage, applause washing over you like cool water after a long trek, you understand the hard thing was never just about speaking, it was about becoming. And in that becoming, you've reshaped not just your story, but the stories of everyone who hears you now. This is the lesson of the desert traveler. You endured the heat, the thirst, the endless horizon, not because the journey was kind, but because you knew the oasis of triumph awaited. Forcing yourself to face what terrified you transformed your very essence. As we'll see in the takeaway of this journey, the unyielding will to push through hard things doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. Now let's turn to another desert one, not of words, but of relentless toil. Picture yourself years ago, a young dreamer, with a vision so vivid it burned behind your eyes, a business, a book, a legacy. But the path to it was no paved road. It was a barren wasteland of setbacks and sacrifice. Late nights blurred into early mornings, savings dwindled and rejection became your shadow. Friends drifted, doubting your obsession, while doubt itself clawed at your resolve. The easy choice was always there. Give up. Take the steady job. Settle. Yet you didn't. You forced yourself to keep walking, to hammer away at your vision, even when the ground beneath you seemed to crumble. Every no was another dune to climb, every failure a sandstorm blinding your way. Fast forward to today. You stand in the heart of your creation, perhaps a thriving store, a published work, or a community you've built from nothing. You stand taller than ever, not just in stature, but in spirit. The years of struggle, the endless desert you crossed, have carved you into a pillar of strength. Clients or readers or neighbors look to you not seeing the tears and sleepless nights, but feeling the unshakable resolve that radiates from you. That vision you once held in trembling hands is now a living, breathing reality. The suffering wasn't a punishment, it was the fire that refined you. Like the desert traveler who finds the oasis after miles of torment, your endurance has birthed a triumph that no shortcut could ever match. This is the power of forcing yourself to do hard things, turning a distant dream into a towering truth. Again, the metaphor of the desert rings clear. You walked through scorching sands, endured the unrelenting heat, and emerged not just alive, but reborn. The takeaway of this section echoes in your victory. The unyielding will to push through transforms not just your outcomes, but the very core of who you are, of who. Let's pause here, traveler, and reflect on what this journey through the desert truly means. Forcing yourself to do hard things is not merely an act of stubbornness, it's an alchemy of the soul. Pain, struggle, and sacrifice are not your enemies. They are the raw materials from which triumph is forged. Think of the desert traveler staggering under a sun that spares no mercy. Each step feels like betrayal, each mile a test of will. Yet in that suffering, something shifts. Muscles harden, resolve sharpens, and the heart learns to beat with purpose. What was once unbearable becomes the very thing that defines your strength. Have you not felt this in your own life? How many times have you cursed the weight of a burden only to later realize it was sculpting you into someone unbreakable? Endurance transforms suffering into triumph, not by erasing the pain, but by revealing its purpose. The scorching sands are not there to destroy you. They are there to strip away what is weak, to burn off doubt and hesitation until only your truest self remains. Like a blade tempered in fire, you emerge from hardship not diminished, but deadly in your focus. Consider this: what hard thing are you avoiding right now, fearing its heat? What if that very struggle is the crucible waiting to birth your greatest triumph? The desert does not care for your comfort, nor does life, but it does reward your will. Keep walking. The oasis of your transformation is closer than you dare believe, and the impact of your endurance will ripple far beyond what you can see. Now let's widen our gaze. The triumph of forcing yourself to do hard things is never just about you. It's a stone thrown into a still lake, sending ripples outward to touch lives you may never fully grasp. When you cross your personal desert, be it fear, failure, or fatigue, you don't just reach your own oasis. You become a lighthouse for others lost in their storms. Think of the speaker who once trembled, now inspiring a room of strangers to speak their truth. Think of the visionary whose years of struggle built a haven for others to thrive. Your unyielding will does more than transform you. It transforms the world around you. Have you considered how many eyes watch your journey, quietly drawing courage from your steps? How many dreams might awaken because you refuse to stop? This is the deeper magic of endurance. The desert traveler does not just survive the sands. They carve a path for others to follow. Your suffering, when met with resolve, becomes a map etched in grit and grace. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow, rich strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Your triumph is proof of this truth. It stands as a testament, a quiet roar that says, if I can, so can you. So when the heat of hardship bears down, remember, this is not just your battle. It's a beacon. Your will to push through doesn't just elevate you. It lifts everyone who witnesses your rise. Keep pressing forward. The impact of your endurance is a legacy that outlives the desert itself. Let's get practical now, because triumph isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every day. When you face a hard thing, whether it's a daunting task, a fear that grips you, or a goal that seems miles away, don't shy away from the burn. Embrace it. Start by acknowledging the discomfort. Say to yourself, this is my desert. This heat is forging me. Write down one reason why this hard thing matters to you. Maybe it's proving something to yourself. Maybe it's building a future for someone you love. Keep that reason close, a compass in your pocket when the sands blur your vision. Next, break the journey into steps. You don't cross a desert in one leap. You take it one stride at a time. Set a small, achievable goal for today. Speak for 5 minutes. Write one page, save $1. Celebrate that step, no matter how small, because each one is a defiance of surrender. And when doubt creeps in, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, am I closer to my oasis than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, keep moving. If it's no, adjust your course, but don't stop. The burn of effort is temporary. The triumph of endurance is eternal. As Jim Rohn once said, we must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Choose discipline. Choose the burn. It's the price of your transformation. Here's another tool to carry on your journey. Shift your focus from the pain of the hard thing to the growth it's creating. Too often we fixate on the scorching sands, how much it hurts, how long it's taking, how unfair it feels. But the desert traveler doesn't survive by counting blisters. They survive by tracking the horizon. So after every hard effort, take a moment to measure your progress. Keep a journal or a simple note on your phone. Write down what you did today that scared you, challenged you, or pushed you past your limits. Then write one thing you learned about yourself from doing it. Maybe you learned you're tougher than you thought, or that failure doesn't sting as much as quitting does. This practice turns suffering into a mirror of your strength. It shows you how far you've come, even when the oasis feels distant. Share this growth with someone, a friend, a mentor, a community. Let them see your journey. Their encouragement will be water on your parched lips. And if you falter, look back at your notes. See the steps you've already taken. Remind yourself every hard thing you forced yourself to do has added a layer to your resilience. You're not just enduring, you're evolving. Keep measuring, keep moving. The impact of your transformation is building step by gritty step. As we stand here at the edge of this chapter, let's look back at the desert we've crossed together. You've seen how forcing yourself to do hard things, whether it's facing a fear like public speaking or grinding through years to build a vision, transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. You felt the scorching sands of struggle and learned that endurance doesn't just get you through. It remakes you into someone unyielding, unbreakable. The stories of triumph, the reflections on pain's purpose, the practical steps to embrace the burn all point to one unshakable truth. The takeaway of this journey, the unyielding will to push through hard things, doesn't just change what you achieve, it changes who you become. So, as we prepare to step into the next stretch of our path, carry this with you. When the heat of hardship rises, when the desert of doubt stretches before, You remember the traveler who endured the sands and found the oasis. Your triumph is not a gift, it's a forging. Keep walking through the fire. Your transformation awaits and its impact will echo far beyond the horizon. Endure the sands. Your oasis of triumph is near.